I'm at Six Flags Fiesta, Texas for the 47th week in a row. I'm going to take you around the park, show you some updates, especially on the Project 2027 site and Bubba's Cafe, which is now closed, and I'll speculate on what's coming there in the future. But first, we got to talk about two things at the front of the park. So first of all, we have the chaperone policy, which was just announced last week for Six Flags Fiesta, Texas. They've got security guards at the front checking IDs for the most part. For me, they recognize me, so they're like, hey, Hennisphere, you're good, just go on in. But yeah, there's a lot of people at Six Flags over Texas that are getting used to this. Some people don't like it, but for the most part, people are enjoying it. They think it cuts down on the riffraff that goes on later at night. So if you are unfamiliar with the policy, it says that anyone who is under 18 years old must be accompanied by someone who is at least 21 years old, and there is a limit. It says the chaperone must provide photo ID and they can accompany no more than 5 guests that are 17 or younger. And this is a similar policy to what they had at Fright Fest last year, but I believe the age was not 17 and under. I think it was 15 and under had to be chaperoned. Now, for those of you that really doubt the tunnel theory and say like, well, there's no tunnels in the park, why would they just build a tunnel? Au contraire, my friends. Check this out. You walk through the entrance of the park here and go right over a tunnel. This is for the perimeter road. It's been here for as long as I can remember. It's pretty cool. Now you know, you're walking over a tunnel right here. Welcome back, Bugs Whitewater Rapids. This was not operating yesterday. The dragon looks like he's facing the wrong way, so I don't think he's gonna do anything. But we're about to find out if these people are gonna get sprayed or spared. Yeah, I would have been spraying already. They got spared. The people in the back are ducking. They're so happy. Now in here at Studio 6F, they usually have some clearance stuff on the walls over here, like Fright Fest stuff, but they don't have any of that in here. They don't even have the new merchandise with like the cool Poltergeist or Iron Rattler or Cliffhanger design. Instead, they have a clearance rack right here at 75% off. They have band shirts, but then they also have like anime or manga. They have Naruto stuff, a bunch of other things on that rack. And over here, they have more sale racks, but none of them are Fright Fest related. Instead, they have some Looney Tunes stuff like this, and they have like Bugs Bunny shirts as well. And instead at the front here, they have Mardi Gras stuff on sale. So last time I mentioned here at the Aztec Ultimate Nachos, I didn't know what any of this queue was for. I think I figured it out. I think it's overflow because the line actually starts right here. So it makes sense if the line is super long, they could just cross it over this little pathway here and you would enter right here. Now, as mentioned last time, the Fiesta Bay Boardwalk does not open until 2, as Poltergeist is going right now. So I can't go in there this week. It's only $12.50 right now as of recording. But next week, for week 48, I will be here much longer, and I will get into the boardwalk to show you what all is going on. And I'm not sure if there's a parade involved, but the actual Fiesta event that runs from April 16th to April 26th in San Antonio includes many different parades and cultural events around the city. I'm not too well versed in it. I've been living here in San Antonio on and off for 10 years, so I really should check it out because I know it's a big deal. But as for the festivities here in the park, I know that there's going to be a lot of food offered. I've showed you some of the kiosks, but there's going to be different shows as well. Now, I mentioned in the last video that I saw some markings along the railroad track over here in the Sposburg/Rockville area, and it looks to me like there was some work done. So this proxy right here is on top of some fresh wooden blocks. I believe that's where I saw an orange marker 2 or 3 weeks ago, and it does look like there's almost a little bit of like orange splatter, like right there. I don't know if it is or not, but you could see like some of the rocks have kind of been disturbed. There's little like crushed up areas. I think this is the work that they did, and now you don't see the orange marker. No way. It's Mr. Bugs Bunny and the Tasmanian Devil himself. So the only difference today is that they gave me this cup for the secret sauce. Now that I know it's honey mustard, it's really good. I'm going to be getting that from now on, and I would suggest you guys try it. Try the secret sauce. One thing I've always found funny are these barrels are clearly labeled as Jack Daniels, as I get cut off by Miss Kitty. And I noticed that they're everywhere. Like there's more over there, and more over there, and more over there. And I just wonder, is that how Jack Daniels ships their liquor? Is that how it shows up to the shipping and receiving area here at Six Flags? I'm just curious, because that's a lot of liquor. It smells heavenly over here by Old Blues Barbecue. Love the smell of brisket at noon. And I think that this area is going to be dormant for quite some time. So the best place to go look at the 2027 clearing is across the pathway on Cliffhanger. Now today, I don't have a sidewalk talk for you, or a Crack Axle Canyon chat, if you want to call it that. I'm not trying to rhyme or alliterate. Instead, I will have something for you from the studio, so here's me in the future. I let some time pass so that we could get to the next full moon this week, which was on April 1st, 2026. It's known as the pink moon. And we waited for all of the April Fool's jokes to subside before hopefully getting a legitimate clue from Six Flags Fiesta, Texas. Unfortunately, we never got one. Instead, we got this picture of Poltergeist getting repainted pink and turning into Pinkergeist from the official Six Flags Fiesta, Texas social media accounts. And, well, I guess I'm sorry. I kind of led some of you on because I thought that there was going to be a legitimate clue, just like in months past, because they said every time there's a full moon, there's going to be a clue. And when I started to read the comments, and then the next day rolled around and there still wasn't an official clue from them, I really thought, you know what, maybe there is something to this April Fool's clue. So in looking at the comments, there are a couple of good points. I saw that people said, well, it's a Premier Rides coaster. Is that a clue in itself? Because all of the other clues so far have shown mythical creatures and tire tracks and the woods. This is the first time we've really seen a ride pictured since Jeffrey Siebert was at Universal Studios with Curse of the Werewolf in the background when he said something epic is coming. So I guess we can go with that. I mean, that does kind of make sense. Premier Rides was my number 5 pick for manufacturer of this roller coaster. They are the dark horse, in my opinion, because they don't build a ton of rides every year. But when they have recently, especially with Alpenfury at Canada's Wonderland, it was an incredible success. And a lot of people are wondering, when is the next park getting one of those type of multi-launch coasters? I mean, we could get it. We very well could. Now, another thing that was mentioned was launch coaster. Maybe this is hinting at a launch coaster. A lot of people have theorized that if this is not a B&M, then this is definitely a Mach, Intamin, Vekoma, or Premier Rides launching coaster. I mean, I guess you could see another manufacturer in there as well, but predominantly those 4. So I do want to say that the industry as a whole has been moving towards launch coasters over normal chain lift hills for the last number of years. And those manufacturers I just said are at the forefront of it. Yes, B&M has experimented with it, and we saw it with Penguin Trek most recently, but I would say those other 4 manufacturers are now more likely than B&M. So when you look at a place like Universal Studios Orlando, you will quickly see this trend that I'm talking about. Let's go park by park. So at Universal Studios Florida, you have Gringotts, which has a launch. You have Mummy, which has multiple launches. And then you have the Fast and the Furious roller coaster coming, which will probably be similar to the Hollywood version, just a different layout, but features spinning and launches, no chain lift. When we go over to Universal Studios Islands of Adventure, we have Hagrid's, which has a ton of different launches. And then you have the Incredible Hulk, which does feature drive tires that launch you up the second half of that initial lift. The only ride out of these 2 parks that has a chain lift is Pterodon Flyers, and that ride is pretty old. The 2 kiddie coasters have booster tires going up the lift hill, similar to Incredible Hulk. And then the newest park, Epic Universe, features 4 coasters, or 5 if you consider both sides of Stardust Racers. And the only ride that has chain lifts is Minecart Madness. You have a family coaster that is multi-launch. You have 2/3 launches really on Stardust Racers on both sides. And then you have a swing launch on Curse of the Werewolf. So the industry seems to be moving towards launching roller coasters for a couple of reasons. I think one of the biggest things is capacity, because you can cycle people through all of these different sections of the rides much faster than a chain lift. And you're also able to do a lot more storytelling if you are slowing down the ride and then restarting it at different points. But from a safety perspective, it's really cool that in the lowest parts of some of these rides, they can reset themselves by launching from a complete stop to get back to the station. It's really cool. And Six Flags is continuing this narrative as well with some of their new rides. This is probably going to be a launching roller coaster. Quantum Accelerator also fits that. And so does this new Project Purple coaster coming to Six Flags Great Adventure. But this all points to something. If we put all of this together, there's only one coaster that really fits all of these clues, even with the April Fool's joke involved. Another coaster from Six Flags America getting relocated to Fiesta, Texas. We've already seen 2 inverted Batman clones in the same city. I talked about Superman last week. And like I said, the plot of land, it doesn't seem to fit that layout. But what it could fit, potentially, is Joker's Jinx getting relocated. Because that's a Premier Rides launching roller coaster. And it would fit the terms of the April Fool's joke. So that's just an April Fool's joke. I don't think that that would actually happen. But so far, that checks all the boxes. So that's really all I have to go off of. I thought there would be a more legitimate clue for this week, but there was not. So now we're going to have to wait until next month when there are 2 full moons. And I hope we get more clues and hints from the park and from Jeffrey Siebert's accounts as well this month. And someone asked me on my last video if there were any county filings for something starting the construction process. And I went online and I looked and I really didn't find anything. Nothing from this year, nothing from last year. So that's it for this week. So I just saw something I've never seen before. This motorized scooter right here crossing the tracks got caught directly underneath this thing. It came down on top of that, and there were 2 other people trapped in between the 2 arms, and luckily they have ample time to get out of the way, so they did, but never seen that. This thing came down directly on top, like chopped the top of that motorized scooter. Someone else lifted up the arm and they drove away. But yeah, you should know that when these signals start blinking and start alerting you that a train is coming, you have about 25 seconds until the train is here, but the arms come down immediately within 5 seconds. over in Rockville, when these things start making noise and coming down, like it takes like more than 10 seconds for them to come down, twice as long as this intersection here in Crack Axle Canyon. And then it takes the train like 40 seconds to actually cross. You have more time over there. These are a little faster. Well, unfortunately, the line is a little bit longer than I thought. I don't have fast lane today, so it'll wait until week 48. Don't worry, let's go to Bubba's. Well, here is Bubba's Cafe, or what's left of it. Inside, we can see a ladder, and all of the kitchen stuff looks to be gone. There's a little bobcat here, a Kubota bobcat, and I can't see too much into there. It's dark, and also the glare is kind of crazy. I'm standing right up against the fence right here. But again, the leading rumor is that this will be turned into another restaurant, but it will feature cuisine not found in the park. So my guess from the beginning that I heard that was either Tex-Mex or Mexican food. And now that I think about it, it does make sense that it would be something similar to Cocina Abuela coming to Six Flags Over Texas later this year. And it would feature a serving style similar to what Cedar Fair parks have. Like Sangerfest Hall was completely redone for, I think it took over a year. And this place is probably gonna have that same serving line where you just walk in, everything is hot right in front of you. Pete's Eats has this now, and you just tell them what you want and they just grab it and put it on the plate instead of having to take a receipt or some sort of order and give it to the people in the back and then they prepare it for you. Like this place served wings and that's how it was. Now, in the future, there should be stuff available that's already sitting under like a heat lamp and it's more grab and go for the employees. It's easier. But I would assume it's Mexican food. That's my best guess. And I did hear from someone who claims to work in the park that that is what this is going to become, a Mexican restaurant. Hopefully there's tacos, burritos, maybe quesadillas and enchiladas, stuff like that. Now over here at the Thirsty Buffalo, that is where they have a lot of Jack Daniels. You can get the frozen Jack and Coke. I haven't had one in a number of years, but I do love it. That is a wrap from another short visit at Six Flags Fiesta, Texas. And next week, for week 48, I will be here for longer. I'll check out the boardwalk, and Viva la Fiesta will be in full swing. But if you learned nothing in today's video, just remember these 3 things. No good deed goes unpunished. Subscribe to me on YouTube, and when you're feeling stuck in life, like our friends at Intamin always say, push down, pull up. That was another day in the Hennisphere.